Hi, I'm Marti Dietrick. I'm the director at the Hub in McGregor, Texas. Well, I grew up in a Christian home. I've been a Christian most all of my life. And I had a fairly uneventful childhood, but starting somewhere in junior high or high school, I started having a lot of depression, a lot of suicidal thoughts, just really struggling, and went all the way through college, through married life. I went to church counselors. I tried to find answers. I read in the Bible that Jesus said he came to give abundant life, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I've never experienced that. So my kids were fairly young. I had always kind of struggled with seasonal allergies, chemical allergies. Then I started having migraines and started having these really bizarre other symptoms, and just ended up real shut down. Didn't even feel safe driving my kids. I had such fatigue and mental fog. I just couldn't function. I went to alternative medical treatments, trying to find answers. What was wrong with me? What's going on? And I heard this guy speak at a friend's house, and he had a ministry up in Oklahoma. And I finally felt like, I think there's some answers. So I went up for ministry in Oklahoma, and it felt like just a brick wall. Just like he would talk, and I was just didn't know what he was getting at. So that we were going to come back the next day for ministry, but that night, as he was closing in prayer, he said, God is waiting with open arms. And so I had this picture in my head of arms, and I look up, and it was like God was just beaming at me, just this pleasure and this love. And I told him later that I dreaded going to heaven because I didn't want to see the look of disappointment on God's face. I just never measured up, just was always a failure, a disappointment to God. When I went to that ministry, I was like Eeyore, and when I left, I was like Tigger. And I think my kids thought an alien had just taken over my body because I was just so different when I came home. And I was like, I finally had experienced the good news. I felt like I'd lost 100 pounds, and when I came home, all my physical symptoms were gone. I just realized I was so angry at how many years the enemy had stolen from my life, from my kids' lives. This is the freedom that God intended all of us to walk in. And if I see people that are bound in health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I'm there because I want to see people free. I want to see people experience the abundant life that Jesus paid for. And that's why I'm passionate about what I do. We hear things in church, and we hear the truth a lot, but it's not exactly personal encounters with God. And there's so many lies that we're bound up with from childhood that maybe we don't even realize. And so some of it is realizing the lies we're believing about God, about ourselves, about other people. And I think once those walls are torn down and people see the goodness, the love of God, I think it just changes the way you live. It changes the way you see yourself. It changes the way you see other people. And so I want to see people free. I want to see them be who God created them to be, to have joy, have laughter, have healing, just to enjoy this life. We don't have to wait till heaven to enjoy life. I think we can experience a lot of that here. And I don't want to get to heaven and then go, oh, I could have had all that, and I just didn't realize. I want people to experience heaven on earth. And I think it's possible.